Purposely put Deborah with Daisy on our leadership weekend. And Saturday night, Deborah just broke down and cried and said, "This is the first positive thing I've done in my life since my mom passed away." When we got to youth corps graduation, one of our alumni said, "That is not the same girl that entered into here 9 months ago." That's the life you're investing in. So when you're selling nuts, you're not selling nuts, man. You are changing lives. This is Walter, District 2 student. Great young person, great student, but hadn't caught the vision of leadership yet. He said his life drastically changed after he went through youth corps. In fact, after he went through youth corps, he went back to his school and he purposely joined student government because he said he wanted to pass on the leadership principles to other people that he had gained in youth corps, a life you've invested in. So there's a person who's now, as a high school, is not just showing up to class, not just going and playing baseball. He goes on and becomes the captain of his baseball team, is now going into school with a purpose. He wants to influence his school. That's what you're having happen. This is an amazing story. That girl on the right, she's a Spring Valley grad. The other girl lives in this area. She doesn't go to Spring Valley. This is on a bus behind the fence at DJJ, which we do during November. It's Crimes, Victims, Justice. We give them that exposure. While on that bus, those two started talking and said, "What difference can we make?" At that point, there were 180 young people behind the fence at DJJ. What difference can we make? Well, this is the plan they came up with. They piled into a house right here in Spring Valley, and they made cookies for everybody at DJJ. They did this on their own. I had nothing to do with this. This was their vision. This was their plan. And they pile in there. So when they're all done, I call up the person at DJJ and I say, "I got some cookies for you. I got to deliver these cookies. Well, what do I do with these cookies?" And she said, "Well, can't you just bring them to the Welcome Center? I mean, aren't they like on trays or in boxes?" And I said, "You don't understand." I said, "There's 180 individual bags, individually tied with a ribbon with cookies in it, because they wanted every single young person behind that fence to feel like somebody cared and that they were important." And it was just silent on the other end of the phone. And she said, we've never had anything like this before. Those two lives and the group of people they then influenced, that's what you did. This is Gabby. Now, Gabby's not in the school district. Gabby's from Lower Richland. Everybody talks about Lower Richland. But Gabby just doesn't talk about it. She goes back and does something about it. She went through youth corps. This is part of our legislation and government module, something that you invest in. So that's her legislator. And we're working on a bill. We're not touring the State House. We're working on a bill down there. I think this one was texting while driving. And she's talking to her legislator, and that's her notebook with her talking points out. And saying, I don't know if she was for it or against it, but she's letting him know. This is, hey man, this is what I think, and this is what you ought to think about this bill. Gabby, this is her with Dr. Bono down to trauma unit. That's part of our career and higher education module. Gabby went back to her school. Caught the vision of leadership, went back to her school. Their school's student government had basically become defunct. Gabby helped restart that, and her senior year served as student body president. Not only that, during the regional student government meetings, whatever those big conferences they have, she led a workshop. Her workshop, Becoming an Inspiring Leader. That's a life. You see, you influenced that life, so now she's going back and influencing others. But more than that, as Gabby in the middle there, Gabby's in her first year at West Point. Lower Richland to West Point. When you go to sleep tonight and you lay down that pillow, you realize you had a part of that. You had a part of a student at Lower. I realize it's not this school district. I know it's Spring Valley Rotary, but that is huge. That is great. The girl to the over here, whatever side that is, that's Sarah. She was a Spring Valley grad. She's now a freshman at USC. Came into youth corps, quiet, shy, impeccable character. So a great person, great student, but as quiet as that wall right there. We used her on our leadership weekend this past year's leader. On the climbing wall, she was the leader. You could hear Sarah over everybody. From a great student to a great leader, and now she's influencing. If we need a go-to alumni, like we need help with some youth corps event, she's one of our first calls right there. This is a girl in 10th grade would not pick up a phone and call someone cold turkey. We had this list of supporters we want the students. She wouldn't do it. I'm not getting on the phone and calling anybody. You helped transform that life. And so that's why you're not selling nuts. These are two girls. One's District 2, one's District 1. I think one of the great things about youth corps is you got students from different districts, different schools. Stacy on the right said, "This was the year that my life changed forever. I used to be that student that just wanted to stand in the background, but now I want to take the lead." And she is. Jamila's next to her. Jamila is the president of the HOSA group at her high school now. Gone from a girl that's just an average girl to, and she's one of my heroes. She will try anything, and that's what I look for. Another life is now going back into her school, now influencing others. And that's what you're doing. This is Kenesha and Reagan. Kenesha, in the back there, grew up in 5 different foster homes. One of our greatest leaders ever. We just used her for the 2nd time on our leadership weekend. You will never hear Kenesha complain. You will never hear Kenesha give an excuse. Probably has been through more than any of us in this room have ever been through. But she's an incredible leader. She's one of my heroes, is now a senior in high school, a life you invested in. She's not living the life of a victim, she's living the life of a leader because of you. The girl in front of her, Reagan, in her first year at the Naval Academy. Again, we're not a military operation, okay? But still, the fact that you've invested in students and they're getting into West Point and the Naval Academy is because of your investment. That's pretty incredible. And you see the dynamic there? You got a girl who could possibly, now in the Naval Academy, you got another girl who's had an incredible background, and there they are working together as equals. And that's an incredible thing. Okay, this is the chairman. He got this name because of this right here. He was the chairman of our subcommittee down in the Senate building when we were doing legislation and government. And before he came into youth corps, his guidance counselor actually called me and said, "Hey, he's struggling a little bit. He just got cut from the basketball team. It just seems like the air's going out of his balloon. I think youth corps could really stir the vision in him again." And so he applied, interviewed, he got into youth corps, life he invested. One of our most amazing leaders. We all call him the chairman. He's now a freshman at Coastal Carolina, but when he came through, I mean, he was just one of those guys that would make a difference, He wasn't a big upfront guy or anything, but he just made a difference in the atmosphere. One of the things we do with our alumni, we go up to Black Mountain, North Carolina, there's a Black Mountain Home for Children up there. Again, these for kids that are abused and whatnot. We want to give our students exposure. We want them to become involved in the solution. This was awesome. We were at this home. They had the site we were at had all these little kids, and we did a work project with them. We had a cookout with them. We played wiffle ball with them. And after wiffle ball, the chairman brings them all in a circle. And he makes them honorary youth corps members. And he teaches them the youth corps cheer. They all get in the middle, they put their hand in the middle. And then the students made a card for the kids there and said, "Welcome to the youth corps, man. We're so glad you're part of the team." And one of the staff members called me later and said that card sits on that refrigerator and those kids are always staring at it. You see the significance of developing a leader? Jason could have had a great experience, but you're invested in more than that. Jason's impacting other lives. And he'll go on to impact other lives. This is Dominique. She's a graduate of Spring Valley. She might still be famous in Spring Valley. You go ask some people. This is speaking at our graduation for youth corps. I hope just by the picture you can see what kind of experience you've given this young person. What she says there, she called me from Clemson while she was there. She's graduated from Clemson now. Called me from there. She became student body president while at Spring Valley. And she said, "These principles stick with you. I drilled them into student council. And it was true. Later on, student council members would come up to me who came into youth group. Yeah, Dominique used to say that, and I'd hear this all the time. You see the significance of leadership. It was Dominique who got Daisy into youth corps. Dominique, as a high school student, went and printed off youth corps applications on her own and went and handed them personally to people. And Daisy was one of them, said, you need to do youth corps, you would be great at it. And as they say, the rest is history. Daisy's another secretariat, just chewing up the course and just impacting lives left and right. And it all started with that high school student right there. That's what you're investing in. Okay, this is the last one. And I think I've told this one before, but it's my favorite. I'm going to tell it again. I'm not afraid. I can't see or hear. Okay, so the guy on the far right is a guy named Chris. He went through youth corps 11 years ago. I used to do stuff at Carolina Children's Home, kind of on the side, and so Chris, he went on to USC, was on the track team. He would recruit athletes for me. And they would come over every few weeks to the children's home, and we would do stuff with them on the afternoons. And my daughter, Hurricane Hannah, she used to work at P-Hop. Anybody ever eaten at P-Hop? You know, Pontiac House of Pizza? Anybody? Okay. And she used to work there, and this woman who worked there also dropped her off one night. And we had gotten this email through our church that this 11-year-old had developed this very extreme form of cancer. That he had just simply been complaining about pains in his stomach, and they went in and they opened him up, and that his body was just filled with tumors. And the doctors believed that all happened in about 2 or 3 weeks. It was so rare that it took them a week to even figure out what kind of cancer it was. Well, we get this email. I didn't know the family. I didn't know Xander, but this woman knew the family, and she says, would you go visit Xander? And I said, well, sure. I said, I'm going to the children's home on Sunday afternoon. I'll go right after that. I'll go to Children's Hospital. I said, and there's some Gamecocks coming. And she said, oh, that's great. They're Gamecock. They're great. They're big Gamecock fans. I said, okay, well, I'll see if any of them will go with me. So Chris and a handful of athletes come over, come in to the children's home, and I said, hey, here's what's going on. I don't know this family, but I know it's really, really severe. And I said, would any of you all be interested? They're huge Gamecock fans. Would you be interested in going? So 2 freshman baseball players and Chris go with me. We get over to the children's hospital, and Diane, thanks for the work you all do with that. We don't even know. If we just lived in another country, good night. And we get in front of Children's Hospital, and we're standing there in the parking lot. You're getting ready to see an 11-year-old that has extreme cancer. What in the world do you say in that situation? We don't know what we're doing. We don't even know the family. And so I just said to him, there's a reason you're a Gamecock, and this is it. All right, let's go. And so we went in. And we go in there, we walk in, the room's filled with people. It's kind of awkward. They don't know us, we don't know them. And I said, I hear you all are Gamecock fans. They said, oh yeah, we're Gamecock. I got some Gamecocks. And the 3 Gamecock athletes moved in. And they went over by the bed. I'm telling you, it was so incredible. There were cameras flipping out, iPads, phones. It was like a press conference. And they were over there on Xander's bed. And then, drastic situations. I said, you just mind if we pray with you guys? And so they said, no, that'd be great. So we all stood up and held hands and prayed, and then we left, and the parents followed us out, and they got tears in their eyes. I said, thank you so much for coming. And so we're walking to the parking lot, and I said, man, that was awesome. So you're a Gamecock for a reason, and this is it right here, man. I get this picture 2 weeks later. I have nothing to do with this. Chris has gone back to USC, and he has rounded up a host of Gamecock athletes to go visit Xander. That guy in the middle is Dylan Thompson. He became the starting quarterback. Do you know what Dylan did? Dylan started going to Xander's house and playing video games with him. Can you imagine that? The starting quarterback of USC coming to your home and playing video games with you? Incredible. I had nothing to do with it. You see what you invest in? Chris caught the vision of leadership. It wasn't just enough to go to USC and be on the track team. No, I'm going to get other people involved. It wasn't enough just to go visit a kid with cancer. No, I'm going to get other people involved. That's what leadership, that's what you're investing in. Chris would not have been there for Xander because Youth Corps wouldn't have been there for Chris, and Youth Corps wouldn't be there unless people like you were there. You're not selling nuts. You are changing lives. Through a miraculous intervention of God, Xander is now cancer-free. It's an incredible story. From you investing some 10th grader going through high school to a room full of Gamecock athletes being in this hospital room. Man, you should be proud. I am proud to be associated with you. Thank you so much for investing in lives. So get out there. You're not selling nuts. Get out there and change some lives. Thank you so much.